Many parents are debating whether to send their kids to class or take on homeschooling this fall. There are some considerations to think about before you decide. Judy Arnall with Alberta Homeschooling joins us with more. Good morning to you, Judy.
Good morning.
Judy, let's talk about the reasons parents are choosing to homeschool. These are uncertain times. Why are they saying they want to go about it this way?
Well, first, a lot of parents are presented with two choices, either classroom or online, and parents don't want either of those, especially for their younger children.
So let's talk about, you mentioned online. That's kind of what we were all introduced to a little bit when classes shut down and we had to keep our kids at home. They were on Zoom calls with their classmates. And so we did take a stab at it. So how is that different than what homeschooling actually is?
Okay, so the legal term in Alberta education is called home education. And what parents did in the spring is, like you said, it was school that parents had to enforce at home. So it was a lot like homework when it was online. So if parents want to make the leap to parent-controlled, parent-led home education, they have to notify a school authority by September 30th. And then legally, they can retrieve back the authority and responsibility of their children's education.
Okay, so that's the first step to getting started then. And then once they choose homeschooling, if that's what they want to do with their kids, what does that look like? Is it one-on-one with the parent the entire time? Is a tutor involved? How does it work?
Well, once parents notify that they want to take on their children's education, they don't have to teach. They can outsource to tutors, or a lot of parents are forming micro schools, co-ops with other parents and taking turns teaching. So they can very much outsource their children's education. When they home educate, they are assigned from the school board a certified teacher to help and support them, and they also get $850 in funding per child to offset the cost of resources.
Can you talk about the myths around homeschooling? What are some of those misconceptions?
Well, when people think of home education, they think children are going to spend 6 hours a day being taught by parents, and that's not true. Home education takes about a tenth of the time as school does. There's no testing or attendance requirements. Basically, parents have to meet 22 broad outcomes by the time a child turns 20. And as well, home educated children are in about 8 social activities a week, so they meet a very diverse group of people. And the last thing is that children can get a diploma on home education and go on to universities and colleges, no problem.
Can you talk about maybe some of the obstacles parents face when homeschooling? Are there any concerns that they raise about it?
Concerns are they're worried about finding curriculum, and in Alberta, education is outcome-based, so parents do not have to follow a specific curriculum. They could actually use any resource they want to teach, including videos, activities. It's much more hands-on, so the children learn, the learning sticks, and parents can meet those outcomes in many, many ways.
What can you say to a parent who's wondering, is this working? Am I doing the right thing? How do you know if it's working and it's right for your child?
Well, parents are children's first teacher. They have been home educating since birth, so they know exactly where their kids are from ages 0 to 5. And we just say, you're just keeping on going. You know, when you spend 24 hours a day with them, you know exactly where your children are in terms of language arts and math, and those are the two subjects parents really want to focus on. Keep those up to date, and your children will keep on learning whether they're taught by direct instruction or not. They're very good at picking things up.
And I know you touched on it a little bit, but for parents who are concerned about the social aspect of homeschooling, what can you say to them? Are parents who wonder if their kids are maybe missing out in some way, what would you say?
I would say home education gives a broader ability to socialize with a lot of diverse people. Many home educators get together and do park days, especially now that maybe the rec centers won't be open, but they do socialize a lot. In fact, many parents say, maybe I need to stay home and do some home education. We're out home socializing so much.
Okay, and I know you talked about parents having to get in touch with the school authorities. So if parents are saying, you know what, this is probably the year to try something like homeschooling. So is that what is the first steps? What are the steps to get started?
The first step is to go to your school board and ask them if they would support your home education program. A lot of school boards do not know about home education, so they might say no. And if that's the case, then you have to go to a non-resident willing school authority. And there's quite a few out there that have been supervising home education programs for many, many years. And you send in a notification form. And they're really backed up. So if you don't hear from them for a week or two, stay patient, because they will get to you and sign up your child, and then they assign you a facilitator who's a certified teacher to help you.
Okay, wow, so much to consider there. Lots of good information, and yes, I can imagine a busy time if you're interested in homeschooling. Thank you so much, Judy. You can go to albertahomeschooling.ca for more information.